Hi, everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video. Wow, if I had to film that, I'd have to re-record it. So, yeah, welcome everybody to a live stream Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening now here in Moscow, Russia. It is currently 7:30 p.m., and I thought I'd just do it a little bit earlier than usual so that it'll finish a bit earlier than usual. I have a tendency sometimes to go late and it ends up later. So yeah, welcome to anybody that's live right away as we start the stream. I know quite a few people watch this also on replay later. So if you're watching it at another point down the track or, a week later or something like that, welcome also. So yeah, Thursday evening here. I've actually got the window open, so it may sound a little bit loud. I'm not sure with the microphone. Where we actually live, if anyone's not aware, you've not watched previous live streams, we're by car about 40 minutes from Moscow. We're in what's called Moscow region. So there's basically Moscow, which would be the center of Moscow, covered by the Garden Ring, and then the third ring, I guess, and then there's the Makad. And then there's Moscow region or Moscow Oblast. So we're a little bit further out from there. Then actually, we're quite close to Vnukovo Airport, which is essentially Moscow's third airport. So there's two major airports, Domodedovo, Shevrementovo, and then Vnukovo is the third airport. It's also where a lot of the military and politicians fly in and out of as well. They always call it Putin's airport. He has basically like a side entrance. There's a small terminal. There's actually traffic lights on the major highway as well, so they can actually stop traffic on the highway from Red Square and the Kremlin coming to the airport. So he's kind of lucky if he needs to catch a flight anywhere. But the actual flight path, depending on the wind direction for the day or for whatever the forecast of the weather is, planes kind of come from all around Russia to land at Vnukovo, and then the actual turning point for the runway is essentially at Perlivka where we are here. So they basically set their sights on a Perlivka, then they turn for the landing. So, and Jen's here in the background. So it's very shiny from the window. I put a curtain up on the window today because the fact that our apartment is west facing, so it just beams the sun in from this side. So that's why actually the camera kind of looks nice, I think, because the lighting is a little bit kind of better. It's like, and if I move back and forward a little bit, it kind of improves and deproves as the camera kind of adjusts the aperture. So yeah, there's a few people already here live. I'm not sure if Irina from Siberia is here already. She actually put a comment before the live stream started. So if you're here watching, good to see you, Irina from Siberia. Здравствуйте, which is basically hello. Hi, Russell. Good to see you again. Good, Leo. How's it going? Yeah, good to see you also. And Gary's here also, who's also one of the moderators in the channel. We do actually have 3 moderators. So hopefully one of the 3 will always be here at some point. And then possibly if there's any kind of skew-if kind of comments or anything that's not kind of friendly, we'll kind of just say goodbye to the comment, unfortunately. So yeah, now I did put a title for the live stream, which is, will the Russian ruble ever recover? Now, I have no knowledge or banking knowledge or economic knowledge or anything like that to give you any positive or correct answers, but I thought that it was kind of just worth just having a look at the exchange rate, if that makes any sense or anything like that. This is actually just from Bing.com, which is basically Microsoft's browser. Google has something very similar as well here. So this is actually the Australian dollar against the ruble. So a lot of people may be watching the news where they live, and they're going to say that the ruble is the strongest it's ever been. And then someone will say that it's the weakest it's ever been in how many years, since 10 years or 15 years. So it really depends on what currency you're trading in. So if you look at the Australian dollar here, this is kind of over a year. If I even go to 5 years, you can see here it kind of hovered around 45, 46, 47, and then it kind of, that was for a good sort of 3 years or so. It didn't really go anywhere. There was no real up and down. Then it got to about 50 and then sat there for, I go back to the 1 year one. It's kind of a little bit easier there. You can see that it basically was unchanged for kind of forever, for at least the last year or two anyway. And then in February and then into March, basically the ruble just went crazy. So in terms of me earning Australian currency and then spending rubles, when I took an Australian dollar that I earned and then exchanged it to rubles, I was getting about 50. I always used to say it was about 50 rubles. It was easiest to round it off. 50 rubles is $1. If you got more than that, it was a bonus. You know what I mean? It never dropped under 50 rubles. And then when it went kind of crazy, it pretty much reached 100 rubles here, 99.13. So for every dollar, I was getting 100 rubles rather than 50 rubles. And that didn't last too long. Obviously, it's kind of gone downhill since then. And then effectively, yesterday's closing bell, I guess you'd call it, ended at 36.19. So where I always used 50 rubles to $1 in my head, now it's 36 rubles to $1. So there is obviously two answers to this. Well, not answers, but there's two sort of sides to this. So if, for instance, I was to send money from Russia to another country, and then if I basically, it's a bit hard to kind of flip the currency around, but if, for instance, I was to send 100 rubles to Australia, say, for instance, it's $2.80, which is quite a lot, because obviously where it was trading at this 0.019 is a little bit hard to kind of figure out, but it's basically just gone through the roof in that opposite way if you're dealing with rubles as the currency. Whereas I'm essentially living in Russia, but I'm earning Australian dollars in terms of a wage that I can spend. And the value of the dollar that I earn has gradually fallen off here down to 36. So I was kind of okay when it was about 40, 42, 43. I could kind of just adjust my mind, but now it's 36. It's kind of even more in a funny way, like heartbreaking. If it's hard to say that it's heartbreaking like that, but you know, where I always ever knew it as 50 rubles to $1. I mean, it may not sound a lot, you know what I mean? Like this is now 13 rubles difference. So every dollar, it's 13 rubles that you're getting less to spend in terms of the dollar that I earn. Or if we even go to US dollars, sorry, one US dollar here. I don't know if it's at the top, USD. So if we go to one USD, it's 52 rubles. And then that sort of hovered around about 70, 72, 73 rubles, 75. We go to 5 years here. It was kind of, if we go to 2020, so for about a year and a half, it was really unchanged, up or down 1 or 2 rubles at the most. So, and then it topped out at 126 rubles for $1. And at the moment, it's 52 rubles for $1. So that's less than half. So, I mean, for a lot of people that are working in Russia remotely for, say, Western companies, American companies, whatever country in the world that people may be working remotely here from, and they were earning a currency, not rubles, and people were getting money deposited into a bank account or PayPal or Pioneer or whatever these different transfer programs are, their worth of their dollar that they've earned is just gone it's gone crazy. So I might be confused. Seems that the ruble has appreciated versus others recently. Right. Yeah. So it has appreciated. So it is worth more versus the dollar if you're spending it outside of Russia. But if you're spending it in Russia, the dollar, you're getting less. So it's more valuable for Russian companies now because they're getting better value. Wow, that airplane going overhead is like super noisy because we have double glazing windows here, and when they're open, there's a big difference between when we close them, it literally just goes soundproof in here. And when the planes literally find this exact town as their turning point to the landing at the airport. So the ruble has appreciated, but it depends on which side of the fence you're on, I guess, right? So which country you're in and which currency you're spending. So if a Russian is, say, traveling to foreign countries like America, like, let's say, even Thailand, to a lot of Russians go to Turkey, to Egypt, then, okay, let's say England. So the value of the ruble against the dollar has appreciated hugely, right? So the rubles that you own and then spend is worth a lot more. Obviously, it's what you earn here to spend that here, to spend it. So I hope that's not really confused anybody too much. But from my point of view, in terms of the Australian dollar, which is really, looking after number one, if you want to call it that, or myself, 36.19, 39. So it basically tried to recover a couple of times, and then it basically didn't recover. There's kind of, there's obviously, they always say, like, in terms of the economy. So when America sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. I don't know if anyone's ever heard that expression before, but depending on the time of day when people are trading stocks. So a lot of countries are maybe behind American time. So the American trading is overnight in terms of Australian timing. So when you wake up the next day is the end of the trading day, if that makes sense, or the start of the trading day, depending on how you get the time difference. So, the lead may be followed from American stock markets. So if they go down, the Australian stock market goes down. If they go down, maybe the British one will go down, or the Canadian one will go down, or whatever country. So, will it recover? I mean, yeah, how's the euro? Oh, thank you, Gary, for super chat. That's very nice. For 10 euro super chat. Thank you very much. That's very appreciated. How's the euro? Yeah, let's put the euro up here. So actually one thing that's important, just talking about the euro here. So in Russia, you can exchange currency as you can anywhere in the world. I mean, there is a lot of people that say you can't get US dollars here, you can't get euros here, you can't get currencies. You can go to foreign currency exchanges and change money. You can go to banks and change money as well. I mean, how much they would have. What happened there? I kind of pressed it, but it didn't click. So yeah, it's how much they have if you want to buy euro. So the only two that essentially you can exchange and get or give here easily is euros or US dollars. There is other exchange rates on the boards in these little money bureaus, like this, but they pretty much deal in only euros, dollars, and then rubles, of course. So these guys, if you look at the euro here, so it was hovering, let's call it between about 81 and 85. This is for the year, I guess, if we go back. So here we had earlier 72, 75, and then it went up here into the 80s, and then 80, between about, even 90 here. So 86. So it kind of was fairly steady for the previous sort of year or so. And then it spiked and went up to 147 euros for a dollar. Sorry, 147 rubles against a euro. Sorry, I didn't want to make that confusing for you. So, and at the moment, 55.20. So actually over here, it's 54.75. Again, I'm just going off Microsoft Exchange. If I go to Google, I think it won't be too much difference. 1, 2, Ruble. Pretty sure this won't be too much different. The other one has a nicer graph to read. So yeah, 56.20. Here, if we go to a year, the graph doesn't even sort of go up that high. 144. I think that was the highest. Wow, 144. So yeah, this is on Google's exchange rate here. So it kind of just went nuts for basically about a week or so, or 2 weeks, and then it just fell away. So there was kind of that beginning of what was going on, and then I think there was that kind of realization that it wasn't going to end quickly. And now basically, there's obviously a little bit of a factor with a lot of companies pulling out of Russia, a lot of companies now making a decision. Are they going to stay? Are they going to go? What was the initial reaction? A lot of companies have said that we're winding back operations. It doesn't mean they're ending their operation, doesn't mean they're closing, they're leaving, they're winding back. Some of the companies said that they're not investing in future operations in Russia. So they're continuing operations here, but they're not putting any more money into it. So they may not open another factory. They may not expand the business. They may not open new locations or new stores. They're just going to kind of keep the business running as it is and not spend more money, maybe particularly on advertising if it's a brand that needs advertising, and not any new investment into maybe new factory production lines or machinery or even down to office equipment. So, and actually I just read literally leaving Russia. Now, this is probably not exactly news, but this is from BBC here. So BBC have just sort of said, so BBC is blocked in Russia. There we go. That's handy. Let's try Daily Mail. One of these will work. Yeah, BBC is blocked in Russia, so it doesn't like when you put in certain websites here. So yeah, just doing it. Nike says it will. So I think even Daily Mail is blocked as well. Nike says it will make a full exit from Russia 3 months after suspending operations following the situation in Ukraine. It would temporarily suspend operations on March 3rd. This week, the company confirmed it will leave the country completely. Shares in Nike were up nearly 1% in pre-market US trading. I mean, I wouldn't really take that as a bit of a thing to go off. Thursday, it joined other major brands like McDonald's and Google in confirming it will leave the country completely. So yeah, we already know McDonald's as essentially closed and they've been taken over. There is actually still, there's a couple of shots here. I'm not sure where this shopping mall is here, but there is still some Nike stores open, which I would assume as some kind of a franchise. So there's either franchise-owned stores or there's company-owned stores. So where Nike owns the physical store, they own and operate it entirely versus franchising it out to a local owner. So there is actually still stores open. I'm not sure if it mentions that here. Nike has made the decision to leave the Russian marketplace. Our priority is to ensure that we are fully supporting our employees. 1% of operations. People walk near the entrance of the Nike store with its 116 Russian stores. And British retailer Marks & Spencer announced a full exit. So Marks & Spencer is still open. Starbucks are all closed anywhere you go. Actually, even some of the shopping mall locations now, the kiosk style, I've basically gone completely. They've actually removed them. I don't know if they've sold them or they've just demolished them or whatever they've done. And then where there's basically these sort of storefront ones with the roller shutters, they've just pulled them down. That Nike had not renewed agreements with its largest franchisee in Russia, Investive Retail Group, which operates 37 Nike branded stores in Russia through its subsidiary Up and Run. So yeah, so there's 37 stores still open, and then all of their company stores are closed. luxury brands such as Chanel and Louis Vuitton have announced they are suspending operations. So yeah, so Louis Vuitton there and Chanel, LVMH, which is a very big, large luxury retailer. So they haven't announced they're leaving or they're shutting down. They've announced that they've suspended operations. Inditex, Spanish retailer which owns Zara, has halted trading. So they've halted trading, closing 502 shops and online sales. So yeah, there is actually talk that Zara will reopen after the summer. So in basically, what are we in now? June, so July, August, there is a plan that Zara will reopen, but there's not anything concrete, I guess, for now. So Prada, Dior, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and Fendi were among those to clear their shelves. Now, if you go to some of these stores, the shelves aren't cleared. They've basically just closed the doors of these businesses. I've definitely walked around some of these luxury stores, and the stores are still there. The stock's still on the shelves. Yeah, this is actually an interesting story. I didn't read this one before we kind of put it up on the screen here. So, American food and beverage giant, including Coca Cola, Pepsi, and Starbucks, have paused or closed operations in Russia. So yeah, so Coca Cola said that it's leaving the Russian market, but going forward in the next couple of weeks, they're going to continue using the distilleries or the factories that produce the Coca-Cola to make other brands of Coca-Cola, other brands of cola, not Coca-Cola. And they said that within the next 2 weeks, we're going to see those products in stores. So corporations from the British energy giants Shell and BP to French maker Renault are pulled out of Russia. So Shell petrol stations are all open throughout Moscow region. BP is fully open. Every BP petrol station that you see around Moscow, actually yesterday and the day before, I was with friends in their car. Particularly yesterday, I went all the way across Moscow with a friend in the car, and BP petrol stations are open everywhere in Moscow, and Shell as well. Renault, I know that the factory is not operating right now. They basically sold out to the Russian government for 1 ruble. Yum Brands, which operates KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, the Habit Burger I've not heard of, Habit Burger Grill, and Wing Street Worldwide said that it's suspending all investments and development of new restaurants in Russia. Yeah, so KFCs are all open. There's very few Pizza Huts here and Taco Bells. I don't know, they make a deal of all these different brands, but Yum Brands is the master brand of these other companies. Let's just pause this guy here so we don't see that. Oh, it's still not paused. So there we go. Yeah, so all KFCs are open. There's very few Pizza Huts. I've seen 1 or 2 around Moscow, but there's very few of them around. Taco Bells, I don't even remember seeing one in Moscow. Habit Burger, I've never heard of. Wing Street, I've never heard of. So it's suspending all investments. So it doesn't mean that they're stopping operations. So they're not spending money to continue the operation. So, and that it will donate all profits to humanitarian efforts. That's nice of them. Other major US companies that have recently announced their intention to leave. So that means they're not leaving, their intention to leave. Nissan, Levi Jeans, Visa, and MasterCard. So, yeah, this is actually kind of a really neat article here. There's a guy here doing food deliveries outside GUM in Moscow. As part of the McDonald's exit, it's expected to record a non-cash charge of about $1.2 to $1.4 billion. So McDonald's, by leaving Russia, has written off $1.4 billion in, I guess, earnings, spendings, however they word it. That's insane. Insane amount of money. So Estee Lauder has decided to abandon Russia, but so they're not leaving either. They're just abandoning. But major international companies like Reckitt, Unilever, and British American Tobacco are staying put. So Unilever is a pretty major brand that are in food and supermarket products, a lot of cleaning things. British American Tobacco, obviously tobacco products. Yeah, that's a really long article. So interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I guess, Gary, you got there that Aramco, Arabian Oil Company. So maybe they've not changed the branding, I imagine. So maybe they have bought them out. I didn't read that online as a story. So yeah, the one there with Nike. I'm kind of interested now to go to one of the shopping centers to see what's open and closed from recently. I haven't really been to a shopping center in a good couple of weeks. Oh, thank you, Mike. Good to hear. Good to hear from you. Thank you, Mike. Very nice. Yeah, the TTs. Yeah, the value of the ruble is irrelevant if you can't import. Yeah, so companies can still get things in Russia. They can still get them here. They can still import them. It's just a matter of finding the new supply chain to get things here. So going through Turkey for European products, going through Asia, through China, through India, through the Middle East. So a lot of companies are basically now looking at other import and export avenues outside of what was traditional, if that makes sense. So where some countries are not allowing shipments through certain countries, so you're gonna have to basically go around the long way. And a lot of the airlines are already doing that. I talked about it in my last live stream that a lot of airlines are not flying through Russian airspace. And for countries like, say, for instance, Finland, Norway, up on the northern part of Russia, and then where airlines flew from America, basically across the northern part of Russia into Europe, or then flying down to somewhere like India, they basically can't pass through Russian airspace. So it's kind of messed up a whole lot of things. 2 years ago, they bought them out. Wow. So maybe they still have the branding on all the petrol stations. And, the thing is, it's not the Russian government aren't saying anything against, brands essentially leaving. They are looking to make legislation to make it difficult for companies just to literally walk away or pull out or leave. They're looking at sort of rewriting some laws and legislations which will not allow companies to simply close the doors and go, leaving, everybody says stranded here, so to speak, especially all the employees and things like that. The guy that took over all the McDonald's stores took on the agreement to basically fully pay all the staff. I think it's an additional year from when he took them all over. But of course, with the stores all gradually reopening, all the staff are going back to work. So there's no real effect on anybody that's working in every McDonald's location or now Tasty restaurant. So, sorry, I missed a comment here. I wonder if the Forex gyration is connected somehow to Russian energy exports. Are they requiring rubles to settle? Need a trader to weigh in? Yeah, look, sorry, I'm not really up on all of that. It's really not in any way my field. My background isn't all in retail. So, I can go to shopping centers and go to supermarkets. I can see what I see. I can tell you what I see from that. There's obviously, there is a kind of a big thing about it at the moment about how Russia wants the companies to pay for oil and gas or whatever they're exporting. They want the bills to be paid in rubles. So there's obviously some sort of tie-in, but I don't really know that. So let's go back over here. Sorry, so I don't see anything I'm not seeing. Russia has maybe a year of products like Coke stored in warehouses. Yeah, they import from foreign countries. Yeah, so essentially any store that I go to, literally, I can buy Coca Cola. I've actually got a bottle right here. This is the Russian Coca Cola right here. So I should have took that out of the fridge a little bit earlier. Actually, I even went to the store today and bought another one to put in the fridge. I can go to any store and buy it. If you watch the video a couple of videos ago where I was with Peter, the Danish expat, you'll see that video, regional supermarket tour. There was a lot less Coca Cola products in that store. We didn't actually put it into the video, but we went to another place, which was a wholesale market. It's kind of to the public, but essentially it's wholesale, where you can go buy from one bottle of Coke or whatever, one item, through to a pallet of something or a 40-foot container of something. And even there at that wholesalers, we could buy Coca Cola in any size we wanted, glass bottles, plastic bottles. So this, 1 year of products in warehouses mean that's probably true. It's probably more than that. When I go to any store here, I mean, actually, I can go to stores now. I mean, this bottle right here is 65 rubles is what I paid for this one at the store downstairs from me, which was the Krasnobyle, which is one of the videos that I made. If I go to buy this at a major supermarket, it's 89 rubles. So if you go to smaller Krasnobyle is a very major kind of liquor store brand, but they have a point of keeping low prices. So it's, in supermarkets, it's actually higher. It hasn't gone up in price, because there's less of it. They're still keeping everything at reasonable prices. There's obviously now a lot more non-cola brands in the stores. There's a lot of Russian companies that are who have been making colas or some kind of a, I'm going to say the word knockoff to Coca Cola or knockoff to Pepsi or Fanta or Sprite. So there's a lot of them coming to the fore now and being more noticeable in the stores. But I can still go buy Pepsi. I don't really drink Pepsi, but I can buy Pepsi products. Coke I can buy in any store still. I mean, literally, there's no places that have run out, and that's the end of it. My curtain kind of just blew down a little bit from the window here. So there's no, I can't get things. There's no shortages of things. I mean, a year, they've announced, I know this was coming in the next 2 weeks, that the factories that were making Coca Cola are going to be starting to make other products that are non-Coca Cola products. So the other brands, I don't know, or I'm not too sure yet. So I have to wait and see what's going to come out. So they kept BP. They kept BP an agreement that BP wanted. Okay, so maybe BP didn't want to leave the branding from Russia, right? So people could still go there and shop there and know the brand. And there is like a ton of petrol stations in Russia, in Moscow region where I am here, on the highway, even from here to Moscow center. We drove yesterday back and forward with a friend, and probably we passed, oh my gosh, 20 on, I mean, this is like in an hour drive, probably 20 on either side of the highway, 20 one side, 20 the other. And that's basically across all Russian brands of petrol stations as well. There is not really like a bit of a fight amongst the different brands, but, there's a lot of ability to just pull over and get petrol, or I guess diesel or gas, whatever you want to get for your car. So, Doomsday Tonight, how's it going? Good evening. Yes, it's now 8:04 p.m. here in Moscow. 23 degrees. Now, this is kind of interesting. So my computer temperature says 23, which is what the real temperature is, I guess. Now, out on the balcony, it says it's 33 degrees. That's basically the sensor outside the windows here. And then in the kitchen, it says 29. But essentially, because the sun is just beaming in here, the temperature is probably a touch higher than what it really is. It does feel warm. And I tend to have a thing now in the afternoon, especially in these few hours, a little bit earlier on. I know I won't sit in the kitchen because the sun's just too strong coming through the windows. The house that we rent here, the apartment, the previous renters, I don't know, or the owner, never put curtains here in the kitchen. Some people are very, especially with the weather the way it is in Russia, people are like sun worshippers. So they want the the sun to come in and the hot and the heat and sweat. And being from Australia, I'm kind of like anti-sun. You might want to check expiration dates and product locations on your bottle of Coke, typically 3 months sell-by date. Yeah, I'm not particularly up on reading. Is there even expiration date on Coca Cola? I didn't even know there was. I'm pretty sure there isn't. I mean, I know the store where I get this from downstairs, literally they sell through that as quick as it arrives in the store. I mean, that I went down there now about an hour ago to grab some bottled water, and it's constantly like a mess in the store. If you've watched the video, I did the walk around. It was early morning, but when you go in the afternoon, they've got their delivery, and it's just never stops in that little tiny liquor store. They've got like a little fridge section with some food as well, and I pointed out the eggs in that video, and it's never stops when you go in there. So yeah, did anybody watch? I wonder if anyone in the comments maybe watched the last video that I made that I went to Globus Gourmet. I went there yesterday with a friend, and he wanted to take me to a supermarket that I've never been to. It was more like a food market. I wouldn't consider it technically a supermarket. I mean, I guess it is a supermarket, but it's not got traditional aisles. But if anyone's maybe watched that video or wants to watch it or plans to watch it, that's right in Moscow center. It literally is. I mean, if we were to walk from there to Gorky Park, it's probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes, depending on the speed you walk. You literally went down one side road and you were at the Moscow River embankment. And then there's a big Peter the Great statue, if anyone's seen that before. And then we actually walked along the embankment there. We went with my friend and his girlfriend, and we dropped her off at a beauty salon. And then we had a few hours sort of to go around to a couple of supermarkets. And then we went to the waterfront and walked around there. So bottles often on the neck or on the cap band. Oh, gosh. Coca Cola for me doesn't really last that long to read anything like that. Now, to be very honest, I'm just looking here. There's nothing on here at all, literally. There's nothing on the inside of the label either. I can't see anything printed that's got like a best before or expiry. And I'm literally looking at the whole thing here. So, yeah, so I don't see that. Yeah, we can live without Coke. It's unhealthy beverage. I drink it rarely. Yeah, I drink it. I mean, I'll openly say I do, and people know that I do. I've started to drink some other non-Coca Cola products just to try to wean myself off it. If there is ever a point that I can't get it. I mean, I know for sure. I mean, let's say the comment there was about a year from now. I know that there'll be Coca Cola essentially indefinitely here in Moscow and Moscow region and everywhere like that. I mean, what's forgotten here is that, Moscow's population is between 15 and 17 million people. So it's a massive, massive market, compared to other cities and other populations of cities around the world, or even if I compare Australia for sure, So glad to see you again. Thank you, Nelly. Yes, and you. So it's nice to see familiar names in the live stream and maybe somebody new. Yeah, we've got 17 likes. So thank you very much for anybody that's put a like on the video. It's very nice of you. So any kind of likes, comments, shares really help the channel kind of tick along. Yeah, it's actually TT's here. So she mentioned, I just asked about that previous video. If anyone has watched it, I was impressed that they had a bottle of La Grange, Penfolds Grange Hermitage. or Lagrange. Yeah, I was actually I'd done a tiny bit of a walk around before I filmed that. I mean, I'm not a wine drinker or a wine connoisseur. I tend to look at the alcohol and the spirits and things like that. So when I walked around the wines, I just sort of glanced over them all, and I didn't notice it, until when I went around the second time, and I'd sort of noticed the Australian wines there with the one from Margaret River, and that's where I'd gone with my wife. We'd gone on a holiday when we were at home last year. We went down there for 4 days down to Margaret River. So yeah, and that price of that Grange Hermitage is probably 3 or 4 times the price it would be in Australia if you were to be able to buy it. I mean, what's obscure here, and that's what I find. I mean, it's not necessarily that it's kind of a crazy price, like 100,000 whatever rubles or however many thousands it was. It's the fact that you're in a supermarket in Moscow center, essentially on the other side of the world from where that bottle's come from. So whether or not they got typically wine comes in a 6 or a 12 box. So whether or not they bought a case of 6 of that to stock it, I don't know, but it's just staggering that, that you find something randomly, especially when I look at a lot of the supermarkets here and see things on the other side of the world on a shelf. I looked this up later on, and $800. Yeah, I saw that online. And it was about $850 a bottle. So, and apparently it's a good vintage as well. So that's just what I read briefly afterwards. I was, and actually even to see Bundaberg ginger beers or ciders, I guess ginger beers. I've actually seen them in a few places, even in my town here in Aprelivka. The guy tried to tell me here that he's one of the only suppliers of it or sellers of it, but you do see it especially in upscale food markets like that. So you see my Carnival hat. Am I going on a ship soon? Now my wife wants me to go back. She wants me to desperately to go back to work for 6 months. So we are contemplating it. I'm just trying to budget around getting the medical done. I really want to buy the microphones not to do this stream, the wireless microphones to do when I do filming. And you've maybe seen people wearing them in a lot of videos now. There's Rode and there's DJI that make wireless microphones that link into your phone or your camera or whatever you're using. And I really want to buy those like really badly. And then basically the only thing I need to do to go back on the ships is to get my medical done, and then tell the company I'm ready to fly, and that's it. And then I'll be on the plane. So we are seriously considering it. So the more successful this channel is, the less likely I am to go back quicker, if that makes sense. So if you guys can just watch videos for me and make the videos, keep watching them and liking them and typing comments, it would be I don't have to go and work on the ships. If the channel doesn't do very well and it's not earning the ad revenue, then I'll have to go back to work. So I'm just going to press a button here. Let me just see if this works or not. So just bear with me a second. It says insert an ad. Ad inserted. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's done anything to you guys watching. Ad inserted, it said. So I don't think that did anything. I think I'm still here live. So how is the mood of Russians today? Now, I don't know lots of Russians. I'm meeting more. I'm getting to know more people every week now. My friend I was with yesterday, Ivan, he's actually from the next town over from where I live. So if you guys know Inside Russia and Konstantin, so he's roughly a couple of towns over from where I am here. Konstantin, where he actually lives in Moscow, is a little bit closer to Moscow than I am. And then Ivan, who I was with yesterday, he was briefly in the background of the video, a little bit on the ultra luxury supermarket. I'm thinking of changing the name of the video because it's not performing so well. So, yeah, Ivan, as a Russian, he actually had lived in Ireland, as in United Kingdom, Ireland, for 11 years. He essentially went to school there, to boarding school, and he went to university there for quite a lot of years. And then now he's obviously back here in Russia. And he was super cool. I mean, we didn't really talk about things that were going on. Actually, anybody that I talk to here, we don't really talk about things. You know what I mean? Some people do ask me what I think of things, especially when I meet them on the street, or like yesterday, we met some people in the supermarket. They heard me talking in English, and they're more curious of what I think than I'm caring about what they think, so I know that's a little bit weird, but I think overall, I mean, I'm going to say that if I look at my town here, I just was there earlier walking down by the train station to get some food for dinner. And in Moscow yesterday, I mean, driving around in his car, we went to one major shopping center. We went on the highway. We went to these other supermarkets. I'd say in Moscow, it's really business as usual, like completely normal. I mean, even from when I've been here over all the years, and I go into Moscow center, I go to, whatever town or whatever metro station stop around Moscow region, I'd say it's normal everywhere. Even at the train station shops here today, it's about 10-minute walk. Now that it's summertime here, all of the fruit and vegetable sellers are out on their little stalls. There's people selling flowers. There was a lady selling honey. And especially in the evenings here, particularly from about 4 or 5 p.m. onwards until, now it's 8:30. The stores here are open till, depending on the store, some are open till 8 p.m., some till 10 p.m. And a lot more people come out in the afternoon and evening because they're finishing work, or, now it's school holidays, but people come out because it's, nice and light, and it stays light longer. So I'd say overall, it's business as usual. Dark Brother, how's it going? I haven't seen your name in the chat before. There will always be Coke in Russia. They will just import it from neighboring countries. When that runs out, Coke will just cost more when they have to import it from neighboring southern countries. Absolutely, yeah, CIS countries. So Armenia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Absolutely, yeah, that's Belarus. There's a lot of food that's from Belarus that you get in the supermarkets here. So yeah, that it's 100% that's going to happen. I mean, if you go to a supermarket in reality here, 95% of what you see in a supermarket is from Russia or what I call the CIS countries, so the former Soviet Union countries. Excuse me. So there's Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Belarus. So 95, maybe 98%. Pretty much all the supermarkets you go to here, all the bread is made in-house. The butchers are in-house. The delicatessens in-house. Even the repackaging of cheese is done in-house. Sushi is done in-house. Whereas if I look at Australia as a supermarket, a lot of it's basically pre-packed for sale. So it comes in off the trucks. It just has to go on the shelves, and that's it. We're getting rid of butchers in supermarkets. We're getting rid of the bakers. We're getting rid of the deli counters. And, it's just making it more efficient for the running of the supermarket, but it's taken away that personal touch of the supermarket. So, yeah, I mean, that's not even Dark Brothers, even past Coca Cola. I mean, other brands will still be coming into Russia, There's, all of these different beer brands are meant to be leaving, but they're all there on the shelves. Yeah, $800. Yes. Hello. Babel Cruising. How's it going? Yeah, another channel member of the channel. Yeah, we do have a channel membership for the channel. I am trying to post extra posts for the community tab. Probably not doing as good a job as I can. I do want to post videos earlier to channel members as well. So if anyone wants to support the channel that way, essentially for me, people just watching videos when they come out, or if you've got the notification bell on videos so that you can watch them as soon as they come out. I did try the premiere today for the first time on this channel, and it was kind of successful. We got lots of people watching it right as I put it live, and I did some chatting and replying to people as they watched it. So that was kind of neat. So thank you, whoever did that. Oh, you have got a bottle of 2021 Grange. Wow. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago when I was at home, a few years ago now, I think even like Dan Murphy's or Liquorland or one of those sort of stores in Australia were offering like whatever that current release was at the current retail price. And there's a kind of a point where people want to buy each one, a bottle of it each year, and keep it and store it and as an investment sort of thing. So, Slab Dab 420. That's an interesting name. Shipping and import costs come into play, specifically tariffs and penalties. Yeah, the thing is, in Russia, there's a massive reliance on rail freight, whereas in a lot of other countries, it may not be as much of a factor, and there's a lot of shipping. I mean, Russia obviously isn't landlocked, and it has ports over on the Far East, up in St. Petersburg, so they can still ship and import and export things that way. And then inside Russia, the rail network is just insane. I mean, even the little that I've ridden on it here and in Moscow region, and even the train line that runs here from Moscow to basically the southeast outside of Russia, you constantly hear the freight trains going by and the even the petroleum-looking freight carriages, and things like that, and then the ones with wheat and grain on them. So yeah, it's really a matter, like you say, the penalties or the tariffs and how that's going to play into. Thing is, Russia's not as reliant on needing imported goods in terms of, staples. So things like food and things to live. The more average person, can still live without needing luxury goods to a point. You know what I mean? So, things like not being able to get an iPhone as easily or as cheaply is a problem for some people, but really not for others. A new television, things like a fridge, they'll tend to be Russian made or from the local countries. So things are still very readily available. The true kind of increase in prices where you might watch other videos and this has gone up, that's gone up, this has gone up. That's on genuinely imported items that are not made in any way in Russia. So they're literally produced, packaged, labeled, shrink wrapped, and then imported versus, you buying a Russian fridge here with maybe some non-Russian parts, so. What do you do for a living if you go back? I guess back to cruise ships. I was working in the duty-free shops on board. I've been on cruise ships now for more than 20 years, 21 years. It will be essentially this year, I guess 22 if you kind of add a year of COVID. That didn't count. I was working in the retail stores on board. So if you haven't been on a cruise before, so maybe you've traveled through an airport and you've seen the duty-free shops with alcohol, tobacco, perfumes. So they've got those on cruise ships. Cruise ships in international waters allow for duty-free sales or tax-free sales. So I was pretty much the liquor specialist on the cruise ships that I worked on, selling alcohol, any kind of spirits, rums, whiskeys, cognacs. So actually going to stores here and seeing it is very interesting for me. And, to see products here that even I couldn't sell on the cruise ships because we didn't have access to some brands even is really interesting. Do you drink tea? I don't drink tea. No, we like it. Yeah, Nelly, my wife drinks tea. She drinks coffee. She has one of those kind of French presses for coffee. She is regularly buying tea leaves here. Tea leaves are very, very available in Russia. and she's always got basically tea and coffee in the morning or at nighttime, particularly tea at night mostly. I don't drink tea, unfortunately. I probably should. It's probably good for me, and I don't realize it. So, working on ships is a pain. Is a pain with all the paperwork and protocols for being COVID. Yeah, there's a not really. I guess now that things have kind of smoothed over a lot, it's a little bit easier to go on cruises. Working on the ships, basically, we need to have a medical valid for 2 years. So we go to a physician in the country we're in or where we live. We need to have a US visa if we're going to board a ship in America. So we can go through that process there, typically 5-year visas. I had the double vaccination in Australia, so I just need to have that proof of vaccination for when I think when I board the ship. So there's really not lots of paperwork. I mean, especially for crew that have worked year and year and year and year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. What we need and what we need to get on the ships is not changed a whole lot. It's just a matter of being organized with it. And, when you come home from vacation, make sure your documents are ready for when you go back. Obviously, with this big gap now, it's been a little bit tougher to sort of deal with and things like that. So I saw 3 ads. Oh, there is. Okay, that's weird. Is it stopping the live stream and putting the ads? I got one and I was able to skip it. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I've never seen that before now. So sorry for yelling. I feel like I'm yelling there. So I'm just looking on the other screen here. Add stream marker, create highlight video, and insert ad, and then share. So, but I've got no one to share it with. You guys are all here. So that's kind of interesting. Gary's got YouTube Premium, so no ads. Yeah, actually, one of the perks of living here right now, because YouTube is not showing ads to Russian viewers, or basically if you have a Russian YouTube account or YouTube channel, you don't get ad revenue from Russian views. So as a watcher on YouTube in Russia, essentially my YouTube is premium by default now. So I guess I can kind of smile about that. I don't get ads on any YouTube. If I watch YouTube with a VPN, so typically my VPN goes through France, when I switch that on to use Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, these sort of things. And sometimes I put YouTube on that to, I don't know why, but it comes up with the adverts in French. So I quickly go back to the normal YouTube over here that I've got on this browser. So, Dark Brothers here. What was my, did I answer that question, or is that the same question? Yeah, so I work in the duty-free shops on the cruise ships. What online job sites do you use to get tech jobs in Russia? The Icon 220. I don't really kind of follow that. I guess we can pull it up though, if you're interested. Where are we here? Let's go to this one. The only one I do know is Avito. It's called avito.ru. So this is basically essentially like a Facebook marketplace, but it's got everything for sale. So you can see the things that I'm searching here just out of interest. These are the Rode wireless microphones here, 26,000 rubles. This is DJI Pocket Combo. This is the little handheld camera that I really like to get. That's 38,000 rubles. This is actually mostly secondhand things. So actually that's the camera right there. Can you see me flicking through that there? And then these are the microphones. I'd ideally love to get either of them. And I actually was, while we were on the week on holiday, I was looking up some of the land plots for sale. These are dachas, which is basically, they do look like rundown looking houses, but they're pretty common in Russia where they're like a country house. But over here, they've got work. So it's auto, real estate, work, services. So I guess if I click work on this, so Avito, and then it comes up with job ads. And then these are actually for where I live here. So for a Prolivka here. Get a sculptor. Can come and do work as a sculptor. You can hire a guy to sculpt something for you. Backhoe operator. Part-time mystery shopper. Oh, these are all jobs in my area here. Seller in I guess that's a market. I don't know. Merchandiser loader. Magnets, my local supermarkets. Primary school teacher. Pharmacist. Cashiers. Security guard job. Salary not specified. Au pair. You guys want this guy to look after your kids? What's this guy offering here? Let's see. He's from Uzbekistan. He's got a work permit. That's all it says. Looks after kids full time. I don't know if anyone wants to get this guy to look after your kids. Sorry. Yeah, this is all the ones in my area. So, petrol station, wine store. This is Dixie, which is the supermarket. Security guard without a street in the day. I don't know what that means. Food delivery. Mason Brigade. What's this guy doing? I guess he does like. What's he doing? Bricklayer, roofer, construction of cottage houses, laying bricks of any complexity. Turnkey roofing, concreting. We work on Moscow Oblast. So he works in Moscow region. That's nice. He offers to do house construction. 18 years work experience. Yeah, so it's basically people offering jobs and taking jobs and things like that. So that's Avito, avito.ru. And I guess you can type in whatever job that you might be interested in there. So, yeah. Sorry, everyone, a bit distracted, but perfectly good question to ask. Okay, I'm back. I had to catch a travel cruise related phone call. Oh, catch a travel cruise related phone call. Oh, so maybe you're planning to take a cruise. That'll be kind of cool. Hello, Dark Brother. Looks like you had a nice shave since Tuesday. Yeah, I don't know which video you watched. Yeah, so basically my wife forced me to shave yesterday when I went out with my friend because I met him for the first time yesterday. I didn't know him before he came and picked me up. We kind of felt like we knew each other though, and we just got on like a house on fire from the minute I jumped in the car. He literally lives 10 minutes down the road from here, so it was kind of mad for him to come and meet me, and we just jumped in the car and off we went. So yes, it does look a little bit rough now, so I'm sorry. Lots of cruise ship companies are having trouble to fill their rooms. Yes. And some have lost 75% of their stock value. They're hiring still, though, because there is a shortage of personnel. Yeah, there's a lot of issue with crew members getting the visas. So it's not so much hiring the people. It's the crew members can't get the appointments to get the visas, particularly for ships that are US based. So in the past, basically, most crew who maybe aren't new hires would be renewing their visa. So they make an appointment, they go there to the embassy, they take their documents, and then most crew that are getting the renewed visa, it's fairly straightforward. You go for the interview, your documents are quite similar to what you've already had in the past, and they put it through. But now there's just backlogs and backlogs of people and crew who can't get the visas. And that's for crew members all around the world. So I was very fortunate to get my visa sorted out before I flew to Russia. So I've got the US visa in my passport already. Zdravstvuyte, I'm not sure your name there, but it says hello for sure. When you said you were doing something different, then I did not hear you until they were finished. Oh, okay. So it's kind of pausing when it goes to the ads. That's interesting, Vet's wife, how they're doing that. Sorry, I thought I'd just click it because it said to click it. I wonder if it must be a new feature on the live streams. It must be. So I just want to point out, Gary here's put another super chat. Thank you for your microphone. Yes, this is the fund that the microphone fund. Yeah, my wife and I, we are trying to basically have like a little box, like a little secret stash of money that we're trying to save for things, particularly big things. and we are just not getting ahead, in terms of saving. And with the dollar going down or the ruble going down, it's not helping because we're getting less value for the dollars that I'm earning. Obviously, she earns rubles in her job, so how are the prices compared to before? So mega ham. You must have like ham, or maybe you're a ham radio enthusiast. That would be kind of cool if you are. Yeah, prices have gone up. I mean, I won't deny that. I'd say for the average products and the everyday staple products, it's not gone up lots. So somewhere between about 10 and 20, 30%. Things like luxury goods, like things like their microphones we just looked at, iPhones, computers, electronics. I really don't go to electronics stores. I did go into one yesterday with my friend. He wanted to film a couple of seconds looking at the price of iPhones. But I don't go in them because there's nothing I really need. And while I don't want to pay the price for the microphones, I don't want to go in them. I'll end up buying the microphones online from that Avito because it's just cheaper to buy things online here and have it shipped or sent to me, right? So, yeah, so it's the prices have gone up. I mean, coffee's gone up a lot, like bagged coffee. Pretty much most coffee in Russia there's no coffee production here. So they've got to bring the beans in from somewhere that may be basically ground and packaged and resold here. So basically they would consider Russian produced, but the beans aren't from here. So prices, coffee's gone up. So anything that's an ingredient that's not from Russia or from one of the neighboring countries, there's an increase. If you're not a coffee drinker, it probably wouldn't affect you. But if you're a tea drinker, tea leaves are very readily available here in huge amounts, and it's not a factor as much, So, prices have gone up. I mean, there's no need to hide it. For your microphone, thank you, Gary, for the super chat. That's very nice. And then also Bear Bull Cruising for your microphone and a return to cruise ships. Hint, hint. Yeah, I think my wife is the one that hints the most. She's just here, Jen. One person said that they're hinting that I need to go back to the cruise ships. Yeah. Are you going to come and wave? No. No? She's just pulled out the chicken wings from the fridge to make warm for dinner. So last night I came home very late from being out with my friend, and I was like so hungry, and I had one piece of pork left that I pan fried some pork. This is like 11, 12 o'clock last night. And I was like so hungry, and I was like so disappointed there was nothing to eat. And I'm looking around, and then I woke up this morning and Jen's like, "Did you look in the oven?" And she'd made like a tray of chicken wings. And I didn't even open the oven to look last night that the chicken wings were already in the oven there. So, and we have enough now for kind of like second seating chicken wings. What is your favorite Russian food? Mine, I guess, borscht soup. Kind of, my wife makes, okay, now not really in summer, but coming out of winter, my wife made a lot of soups and any kind of soups and some bread to dunk in it. I like pickled mushrooms. When you go to the Rinox and there's the ladies there with all the different pickled vegetables in like buckets. There's like the pickled little champignon mushrooms. You can get big, field wild mushrooms as well, but they kind of like in a vinaigrette. I like those a lot. What else? In terms of Russian food, pilmeni, my wife makes a lot. We've always got a bag of that in the freezer. So you just basically boil up some pilmeni, which is just basically, if anyone doesn't know what pilmeni is, it's kind of like a dumpling, like a meat in a dumpling pouch, and then you just boil them, and you have some ketchup on them or some sour cream, smetana. So yeah, and shashlik. Automatically, that should be every man's number one favorite food. Having shashlik. We went to a friend's dacha the week before last, and that was pretty much on the menu. Actually, after we were at Peter's house on that video we were at Lenta. If you watch the last few videos, we went to a little takeaway shashlik place. So we basically chose the meat on a skewer that they had basically on the counter in the fridge. And the guy cooks it up for you, and 15 minutes, you're off and go home. And it's like a takeaway. We had some pork one, and I'm not sure what the other one was. It was the ones I had was pork. Oh, Dark Brother, how much do you have to make from YouTube to leave the sea behind for good? Now, there's really the answer is there's not really an answer in terms of if you want a dollar amount. My forever goal years and years ago, this was before this channel. So I have a cruise channel called I Like Cruise Ships. And my dream, it was my dream, not really my goal, I guess. My dream was to make $4,000 a month from that channel in ad revenue. So not super chats, not super stickers, all these supers. Purely from making videos and putting them on the channel, and then they get viewed forever. So what's called evergreen content. So if you, for instance, put Carnival Horizon elevator secrets into YouTube, it'll come up with videos that I made about how to use the elevator on Carnival Horizon. If you put Paradise Beach Cozumel into YouTube search, I made 2 videos there about how to get to Paradise Beach Club in Cozumel. So the idea was for me to make evergreen videos that would be forever on YouTube. They'll ever be searched, they'll ever get watched. And right now, while I'm not really posting any videos on the cruise channel, it's still earning ad revenue and still earning money. I've got a few Amazon links on one video where I talk about the travel plugs to use on the cruises. So that links then to Amazon associates. I mean, to leave cruise ships behind, I mean, actually, in theory, Dark Brother, I can probably make more money working on the cruise ship making videos in my spare time than I would actually make working on the ship in the shops. If I got off in all the ports, made port of call videos, if I made how to get to the beach videos, if I made beach club review videos in all the ports. So if I went to, say, Cozumel or Jamaica and go to different beach clubs, I could make more money from those videos than actually working. I know that sounds weird. So it actually, in a way, I need to go back to ships to make more money from YouTube. I've not answered your question, have I really? Do you have to, how much do you have to make to leave YouTube behind for good? I mean, I have always wanted to make $4,000 a month, which was $1,000 a week. That was my goal a lot of years ago when I very started. This is the cruise channel, not this channel at all. So this was not even included. So that was the plan to somehow get there. And it was only really from making what's called educational videos. So how to get somewhere, review of a port of call, review of the cruise terminal where the ships dock. And even I'm trying to do that with this channel where I'm doing like a review of a place, but I'm not really naming them like that. So if I put the shopping center name and then the review, it would always get views over time. Probably not really here because Russians won't probably watch an English-speaking channel, but you know, most of the videos I'm making here are a little bit more topical and a little bit more trending topics. So, oh, we have a couple of super chats. Oh my gosh, what did I say? Or what did I not say? So, Bevel Cruising. Okay, so yeah, for the microphone. Yeah, I really do want to get those microphones. So whether it's for using it here or using it on the cruise ship, if I can get those Rode Duo microphones with the 2 separate ones, and then like where I filmed the video with Peter the other day or last Sunday, he and I could both have a microphone on, and we can both film not having to talk into the microphone on the camera. And it would come across beautifully, like really beautifully. So, and sorry, thank you. Sorry, I keep seeing Mento when I see your last name as in Mentos. Let me buy you a Coke with thanks. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is the one that was in the fridge previously. I've got the other one that I bought today, just chilling. So it's kind of interesting here. You know, there's not lots of shops here that have cold soft drinks. So even if you go to a store to buy a cold drink, generally the fridge isn't working. So similar to Gumtree, yes. It's probably more professional than Gumtree. Megaham. It's the Avito basically has everything, so it's probably a more professional version of Gumtree, and it's more verified, like verified accounts, verified ads, and things like that. They've got a lot more checking of what they're doing. That makes sense. Yeah, people don't understand that working on a cruise ship is difficult. Most people on ships work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Absolutely, yes. In theory, for Carnival Cruise Line, it's 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. So 70 hours per 7 days. And technically, you can't work more than 90 hours in a 7-day period in terms of clocked in, because you have to clock in and clock out for all of your shifts. If you go on a break, you clock out, you come back, you clock in, so that everything is recorded, let's say legally. But, it's really, your 10 hours a day is not realistic for most jobs. Some days you'll work 12, 14, 15 hours, and maybe the next day you'll work 6 hours. So but once you get used to it, it's an easy job. It's easy if you're good at it. I mean, I'm being very blasé about it, but any crew member, if you go on a cruise ship and someone's worked, let's say, more than 5 years on a cruise ship, they know what they're doing. They've mastered what they're doing. They've got the schedule of what they're doing down pat. And most of us could kind of do it blindfolded in a way. A lot of the jobs. I know that's being, blasé about it, but it's very true. There's a lot of very skilled workers on cruise ships who are very, very, very good at their job. And it makes people on land look a bit silly in terms of the work ethic. You know what I mean? Here, like a 9-to-5 job, you come home. Okay, not necessarily the 9-to-5 job is anymore, right? But you come home and then you don't know what to do with yourself. I know when I was working in Australia before I came here, I was not working. I was working a lot of hours, but I'd get home and I would sit on the sofa and look around and what now, And whereas on cruise ships, your day finishes at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. How did you meet your wife? I met my wife in Thailand back 9 years ago. We were both on separate holidays in Thailand. We both met in a bar drinking. I was with a friend, she was with a friend, and it worked out. We've been married 4 years. Actually, we had our anniversary a couple of days ago, our engagement anniversary, not our wedding anniversary, where I popped the question and things like that. So then we got married 4 years ago here in Moscow. So I'm happy for your channel. I wish I could have met you on a cruise while you were there. Yes. Yeah, there is a few people in the group, in this channel, and particularly on the cruise, I Like Cruise Ships channel, who have met me. In the last year or so, while I was on the cruise ships before COVID, I was getting noticed, recognized in the shop daily. I was on Carnival Horizon for 2-3 contracts, really. And because I made a lot of videos on there and people had watched a lot of Carnival Horizon videos, people then recognized me, mostly from my voice, because I did a lot of walking tours. So I wasn't really in the video as such. So people kind of, oh, I recognize your voice, or I can hear your voice, and that's you, and you're the guy from the videos. And yeah, it's pretty neat to meet people and people asking for selfies and stuff. I'm in Long Island. Oh, I should never ask where everyone was from today, did I? I'm in USA, Long Island, New York. Coffee prices up here at 8.6%. Up here at 8.6%. Inflation overall, yes. Yeah, in America, there's a big kind of to-do about the petrol and gas prices, right? And the thing is, in America, there's so much oil and gas reserves, but the government doesn't want to release the oil and gas reserves, and still reliant on importing oil and gas. And the same in Australia. We have far more export than what's used domestically. On any coast, I even want to move there along with my family. Oh, okay. Imran Khan. Oh, if you're the cricketer, you've got to come, Imran Khan. Maybe you're not an Imran Khan cricketer, but yeah, there's look, the airports haven't closed, the embassies haven't closed. You can still get visas. You can still come here. It's really people's, I guess, not really attitude, but people's willingness to travel still. I mean, I guess COVID didn't help in the last 2 years either, where a lot of people are hesitant to get on a plane now, fly anywhere, worry about what the outcome of that might be, if it's still coming back, is it around? So, Bebel remembers the Carnival Horizon Elevator Secrets video. They really got me prepared for Carnival Panorama, and I enjoy using the elevators. Yeah, they're very neat. Actually, when I used to do the boat drills on embarkation day, so I was doing one of the main theaters for the embarkation, for the boat drills. And then I used an elevator right afterwards. The luggage guys freed up the elevators for the half an hour after the drill finished, so everyone can get back to and from to their cabins and decks. And I'd actually have the override and the key for the elevator to ride people up and down. And it was very cool. Yeah, I know that seems weird, but doesn't seem weird. Don't sound weird. People love watching videos from around the world, especially beautiful beaches. Yes. Yeah, this is the thing with going back on ships. It's not about going back to work, really. I mean, I can do the work. It's easy for me, selling alcohol, meet and greeting guests and all that sort of stuff. The boat drills, all of the duties on board the cruise ship I can do. It's the going back actually to make more videos, and especially for the cruise channel, make more evergreen. So if anyone doesn't, evergreen videos are basically searchable videos, whereas people that are doing vlogs, like my day at the beach video, won't necessarily get found in a search. But if you put, Clearwater Beach, Florida tour, people will type that into YouTube or into Google, and that video may come up as a searched video. But if you put, my day at the beach in the title, highly unlikely it'll get found, or discovered, so happy engagement anniversary to you both. Thank you, Jazz. I was going to say Joanne. I'm reading Joanne Remain. Thank you. Yeah, my wife knows all the dates far better than I do, honestly and truly. I'm the worst at remembering. It's also, today is my sister's birthday, 23rd of June as well. Now, obviously, tomorrow is past in Australia, today's past. But my mum sent photos. My mum had my sister and husband and kids over for afternoon tea. I don't know what they did. So yeah, it's my sister's birthday today. She's 2 years older than I am, but she's married. She has 3 adult boys now. Well, they're all adults, the boys. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm curious what you did on the cruise ships. Yeah, I worked in the onboard shops on the cruise ships. So they have duty-free shops. They've also got kind of essentially souvenir shops, so that the branding of the cruise line, like the hats and t-shirts, key rings. There's also watches, jewelry, perfume, cosmetics. On Carnival Horizon, they had a Victoria's Secret shop. We also had a handbag and sunglasses store. But I worked only doing the alcohol and tobacco, and then there was some candy and some sundries like headache tablets and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I've done for 21 years on and off. So, Thailand needs tourists back, but because of inflation, is not really a bargain vacation spot there yet. Same for other Southeast Asian countries. Plane tickets are so expensive. Yes, I've noticed that. Even from Australia to fly to places like Bali, like Thailand, the prices have gone up. I mean, the airlines are basically forced that because they have the upper hand in a way, right? I mean, they can control how many flights they've got, the passenger numbers and things like that. So I know even here the cost of package holidays to Egypt and Turkey have gone up quite a whole lot. So, and they need tourists as well. I mean, it's really down to the airlines and the hotels. So there's a huge, big kind of spider web of pricing that's affecting that. So the cost of the aviation fuel for the planes, the buses that do the package holidays that go to and from the hotels. Oh, press like. Yes. Yeah, we got 44 likes. So that's kind of nice. We're pretty much sitting on about 100% of people who've liked the video. So you're in Thailand in 2019 before COVID hit the world. Yes. Yeah, I was on a cruise ship back then. And then I got off in March 2020. Was March, April. I forgot the exact date now when I went home. I think it was April. It was kind of a few weeks after all the ships shut down. So the US dollar won't buy much in Russia now, so not a good time to vacation in Russia. Would be expensive. Absolutely, yeah. If you looked at that earlier part of the video there where I was showing the dollar versus the ruble, and the same if I brought Australian dollars here, it's not a good time at all. I mean, it's a good time to travel somewhere else and take rubles to another country. Like I was talking with my wife about that. We have this long-term plan of we have an apartment here that we own and rent out. I mean, if we were to sell that now in theory and take the money to Australia, it's worth a whole lot more right now than it was 6 months ago, so it kind of would be a good time to do that. In terms of the problem is sending the money to Australia is the problem because of the SWIFT banking is locked down. So we can't transfer the money to Australia. We can't take more than $10,000 out of the country. So there's a lot of problems with that they're not helpful to work out, So hello, Russell. Chaotic Media. How's it going? Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a nice day today. I kind of say it's 21 Celsius, right? I'm saying it's starting to cool down, but you get a lot of heat in that late afternoon, evening here, especially where we are with the sun coming right in through these kitchen windows. So, and this is actually the kind of the northern hemisphere effect that's getting me here because I'm feeling hot and it's 20 degrees. In Australia, that wouldn't really be warm at all. It'd be kind of like a hot winter's day. And it's sort of true now that I'm getting affected, that I'm getting hot and sweaty on only 20, 22, 23 Celsius day. Whereas in Australia, it needs to be 33 or up to 40 degrees in Celsius to be warm. So, send happy birthday to your sister. Yeah, I sent her a message earlier, but I will sort of follow up with saying more happy birthdays to her. I know my wife sent one earlier this morning. She doesn't go on Facebook a whole lot, so we kind of converse on Facebook Messenger, but she doesn't use Facebook really that much. She posts photos every now and again, and that's about it, but she's not on there checking it every day, and it's kind of a big deal sort of thing. So yeah, I'll definitely pass on. Oh, the longest day of the year, is that right? That's interesting. I was just thinking when you mentioned that, when I just read that there, I don't think, does it tell us here? The daylight, sunrise, sunset. Here we go. This is for, where are we? Let's go to this one because this is kind of neat. I'll just switch that off for a minute there, Roman. So yeah, down here. So waxing moon, calm magnetic field. So sunrise, 3:48 in the morning, 17 hours and 30 minutes of daylight, and then sunset at 9:18. So in 18 more minutes. Yeah, so it looks about right out the window there. Maybe 15 minutes. I don't know about 18, but yeah, so the weather right now is 18 degrees, feels like 17. It says 21 on my computer, so maybe the like the Microsoft, whatever this is that does the temperature, is a few seconds behind. Oh, on weekdays, so on the weekend, it'll be 31 degrees. Wow. So 25 tomorrow, 28 Saturday, 31 on Sunday. I'm going to have to go to I don't know, to one of the river parks for Saturday and Sunday. Look at that, sun everywhere. Where's Sunday there? Oh, there you go. So that's the daylight here. So 17 hours 30, then 17:29, 17:30, 17:28, 17:28, 17:27. Oh, so today is the longest day of the year. Sorry for scrolling through, everybody. I would not have known that. Thank you, Roman, for telling me that. It did feel like a hot, long day today. So, there must be a black market to get your money out of Russia where there is a need. Some will provide the service eventually. Yeah, we've already got a lady who basically needs Australian dollars in Australia, and we need rubles in Russia. So that's how we're getting money essentially at the moment. So I'm just putting money from my Australian bank to her Australian bank, and then she's putting rubles from her bank to our bank here in Moscow or in Russia. So, I mean, for larger amounts, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's somebody else, or maybe she wants to transfer more money. I know she has a business in another city in Moscow, in Russia. So she's obviously dealing with the same problem where she can't get access to her currency. Outside of Russia, any Russian credit cards, bank cards don't work. Likewise, in Russia, any non-Russian cards don't work inside Russia. So just going back to the tourism thing, if a tourist come here on holiday and they haven't brought cash with them, hard cash, like paper money, you can't use your bank card to buy something, or hotels, bookings, tour guides. You can't use an ATM to take out cash from the teller machines. 31 degrees on Sunday. Wow. Yeah, 17 overnight and 31. So it's going to be a scorcher for Russian standards. That's about 72 Fahrenheit, and that's the sun's heat rises the temperature up by 10 or 15 degrees. Yeah, you need blackouts. We do need curtains in here. We've talked about this since I've been here, and my wife's been here now a year, and we've talked about it. The problem is we were kind of using IKEA for things like that, and now there's no more IKEA. That simple kind of shop that everyone just pops into to buy those simple things. We do have other options. There is Hof, which is very similar to IKEA. So we can go to Hof and buy something. I've noticed in the other balcony windows, when you look from downstairs, you can get just a lot of people just got very basic roller blinds that kind of just with a little plastic chain, I guess you'd call it. Your location, I'm about 350 kilometers southeast of St. Petersburg, Florida, that is. St. Petersburg. Yeah, right. Florida. Yeah. Southeast. I mean, that's almost like Tampa, and I don't know how much further southeast you'd go. I guess that's like Miami, that far down. Will Carnival Cruise pay for your transportation to the ship, or will you have to pay for the flight? Now, so Dark Brothers, so basically you only pay a flight on your first joining contract. So if you're on a first contract, or you're what's called a new hire, you pay your own ticket to join the first contract. And then from then on, the cruise line pays both ways. So home and back. But only on your first contract, you pay your own ticket to join. So whatever ship they've told you to go to in the world, you'd buy your own ticket to join the ship there. That makes sense. But whereas if you're on a returning, a new rehire or a returning contract, the cruise line will send you your flight details. You just basically go to the airport that day. You get to the final destination, like say Miami. Typically, you'll arrive the day before, so you'll have an overnight in a hotel, which will be paid for. You'll get a meal voucher to get a meal, which is paid for. Then on the morning you get on the ship, there's typically a minibus or some sort of a free bus that takes you to the ship. You just take your luggage and off you go. Yeah, the ruble is not doing good at the moment, Ian. Yes, I completely agree. Wow, it was 41 degrees, 41.7 in the Bay Area. That's really Perth summer temperatures. We would have kind of days and days of 40-degree days over kind of December, January, February, where we have temperatures like that. And always famously on Christmas, it's always like these roasting temperatures. And if you ever watch the tennis, like the Australian Open tennis is generally in January. So they always have like the highest, warmest days in Melbourne on those for that 2 weeks as well. So, Bear Ball, sorry. Real Moscow Projects is here. How's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, we went out together last Sunday. Was it last Sunday we went now? We went to this abandoned building, and then we went to the Tasty restaurant together. Yeah, that was a very cool day, by the way. Working on cruise ships, how romantic. Yeah, DD, there's a lot of, I guess you could say romantic, but it's a job. You know, I mean, a lot of people maybe go for the fun of it, but it's really a job. I mean, the amount of hours you work, the time off you don't have. I wouldn't say it's romantic. Once you're good at your job and it becomes easier day after day after day over years, it's a lot easier to go to work and join a ship, do your contract, go home. You know what I mean? And it's interesting, you know what I mean? Just when you watch other people do what they do on the ship, and then you do your part, they do their part, everybody works in a unison. You know, I guess you could say that for an aircraft carrier, you could say that for an oil rig, you know, people that maybe work in some sort of a factory, you know, where people have to work together for something to work versus working alone or, you know, for your own business and things like that. So we have friends here whose parents are stuck abroad. We have been wiring the money and he gives us rubles. We have friends here whose parents are stuck abroad. We've been wiring the money and he gives us rubles. Yeah, so yeah, I guess that's similar to what we're doing, where we're sending them money, they're sending us money, and it works out. I mean, would it be more helpful for me for the ruble to be stronger, so I get more money for my dollar? On the opposite end of the stick, the lady in Australia is getting more dollars for her ruble. That makes sense. So, wait. 35 with a humidex of 44 in southern Ontario, Canada yesterday. Sorry, near humidity, but up around 32. Yeah, in Australia, our Celsius temperature is always considered shade temperature. We don't tend to have that kind of real feel temperature in Australia. I mean, on the phone, you sort of see it on your temperature on your phone, but on the news where they tell you the weather or on the radio, they just tell you that's the temperature and that's it. And if it feels hotter, it's because it's a recorded shade temperature. So you must have seen a lot of strange behavior on cruise ships over 20 years. Yeah, I mean, you kind of learn to kind of look past it all. I mean, working in the shops on the ships, you've got budgets and targets to reach. You've got sales incentives to make. You've got to keep selling. You know, everyone's a customer. Everybody's a sale as they walk in, or a potential sale of someone buying and selling something. And you unfortunately put it out of your mind a little, all of the things going on around that, you know, outside of your bubble of where you work. And even like, for instance, on the Horizon, the shops were on deck 4 and deck 5. And they're like, the lobby is on deck 3, the atrium lobby. And sometimes I'd have to go down to the information desk for something. And when you go down and stand there and look up, you're never there, right? Because you're always at your own job. And you never walk anywhere else on the ship to feel the rest of the ship. And, you know, you kind of forget how big the ship is. I mean, Horizon, they had 4,300 guests, 1,450 crew. So the passengers basically, they make the cruise, right? Because it's new people every 7 days or whatever length cruise we were doing, 8-day cruising, 5-day cruising. So you do get to know the guests. They do become friends. You know what I mean? You see them every day coming in the shops, and then they get off and a new lot get on, so, things happen, incidents, accidents, and things like that. So, yeah, this is pretty, yeah. So I have friends in the shipping industry, and they said that the hardest part was being away from loved ones for their 4 months of tour of duty. They sometimes do 4 months in 1 year. Yeah. So typically for the shops, we do 6, 7 or 8 months, and they're now looking to do 9-month contracts, like where we were just talking earlier about the shortages of some of the cruise ships. We've got a shortage of crew, so crew that are on board are having to stay longer waiting for the replacement to replace them. So yeah, pretty much for the shops, it's automatically 6, 7 or 8 months. It's for me, I guess I got past all that, missing things. It becomes a job, it becomes a way of life, you become a little bit institutionalized, if that's the word to say, the right word. I don't know if that sounds right. I guess you could say that too for people like firemen that work, kind of shifts on and off. You could say that definitely for people that are in the merchant navy and things like that, and people that are in the Marines and Air Force, and even to an extent people that are pilots and air hostesses. You know what I mean? They've got that kind of life away from home. I think the closest one on land for me is people like fire brigade, where they do so many days on at the fire station and so many days off and things like that. It's really what you've grown up knowing. Especially it's a lot harder for people that have got family back home. They've got wives, girlfriends, kids. It doesn't suit everybody to do that. And then some, they're good for it. They're good about doing it. So thank you, Gary, for the super chat again. Very nice of you for 10 euros. Another one for the microphone. Yeah, it's actually, I did see your comment earlier about the microwave. Yeah, we do have goals that my wife and I want to reach. She wants to go next month, I think. She wants to go to a sanatorium. So in Russia, they've got these like holiday camps or holiday villages called sanatoriums, where you can do like health retreats and like not really spa retreats, but and they kind of have like an all-inclusive, so you get your meals provided, and then the one she wants to go to does things like healing. So she has a lot of back issues. So she wants to go to one of these sanatoriums. They sound like the ones that are from the 50s and 60s and 70s, and they really are. They're kind of that original Soviet style, a block accommodation. It's like a Soviet-looking hotel in the woods somewhere. But it's a very common thing that people do. They go away for 7 or 10 days and essentially shut off and from the outside world, and then come back and you feel all refreshed and rejuvenated and things like that. So we're kind of working around that as well. But my microphones, honestly, if I get those microphones, it'll, they say that a lot with the YouTube videos. I mean, the sound and the sound quality is a big factor in the, people's want and enjoyment for watching YouTube. So I think even for the live streams with this microphone as well, it makes a big difference. So if it wasn't a challenging job, no one would ever want to leave the sea behind. Right? Yeah, it's we have this kind of one thing that we say a lot on the cruise ships. It's like one more contract, or this is my last contract. This is my last contract. And, crew members 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, it's always their last contract. I'm going to go home and stay home. And, it's too easy to go back. That's the thing with it, right? I mean, the cruise line need crew members. They need people that are skilled to do all the positions to keep the ships fully running and operational. And it does take a certain person to be able to work on ships and continue to work on ships, and ships be run successfully. So yeah, Crimea is great for that. Yes, Alan. Yeah, that's the Crimea region. And then the one that my wife wants to go to is in Ufa, which is where she's originally from. So she's found one that's in Ufa region, somewhere in Ufa. They've got them kind of all over Russia, but obviously with summer and things like that, it's obviously more ideal to do them in summertime than winter. Like a retreat. Yes, Joanne. Yeah, very much like a retreat. But just think of the Russian version and the more Soviet aspect to it. I mean, when you live here long enough, you kind of see past the Russian side of things, and you realize that that's how it is, and that's how it's been for how many years. I guess Moscow projects will probably agree with some of these things I'm saying in a way. It's just normal. This is Russia. Has anybody watched the movie with, oh my gosh, it's the one, Blood Diamond. Has anyone watched Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio? We watched it a few weeks ago. My wife and I watched it together. And he says, isn't it this? TIA. This is Africa, is what he says in the movie. Like, this is Africa. And a lot of Africans say this is Africa. And I've said that here a lot since I've always ever been here. This is Russian style. You not really say this is Russia. Oh, and even people jokingly say to me, "Oh, welcome to Russia," when something isn't what you think it is and how it is. And when you kind of say, "Oh, that was surprising," but this is Russia. TIA. Yeah, too much. I don't know what TIA is otherwise, but yeah, this is Africa. If you've watched Blood Diamond, you'll understand. He mentions it. That's how it is, right? So, and you can say that for Russia as well. This is Russia. Like a treat. Sounds like a health resort in Thailand. Yeah, kind of like that. But you're not in Thailand. You're in Russia still. So, but yeah, very much. I know in Bali they've got them as well. You can do them in the mountains in Ubud. These kind of like yoga retreats and these kind of health retreats where you kind of no phone, no fax, no www.com and things like that. So you should once go to a sanatorium in Midirain Vodi. My friend was there last year. Wonderful nature and tasty, healthy mineral water. Yeah. I know my wife's mentioned the one in Ufa. I've not really looked up too much information about it. So Minerali Vodi. I'm not too sure about this place. It does look interesting. I mean, she's actually going to see about the price for me to go as a non-camper, I guess, like a person that's not going to do all the activities. Because obviously what she's going to do is follow like a plan and a kind of a schedule every day that she has to do and things like that. So I hope to visit Crimea next year. I wasn't there since my childhood. Yeah, I think my wife also went to Crimea years ago when she was younger as well. So it's this is Vietnam. I don't know how many times I've said TIV, but this is Vietnam when I'm stuck in the traffic. Yeah, definitely. I know I can definitely refer to it from watching Blood Diamond. We tend to say here Russian style, and that's what I say. No, it's Russian style, and it's how it's been for 10, 20, 30, 50 years here, 70, 100 years maybe for some things. And, there's obviously modern aspects that's come into life here. But then there's a lot of people that live with that simpler, I guess, Soviet and pre-Soviet times and are completely happy, especially when you go out into the Moscow regions and you see where people are living in, more remote areas and with less things, and they're happy, and as long as you've got what you need. I mean, even for me here, I mean, internet, television, sports, and I'm good, and some nice food here and there. So she should go to Baden-Baden. I'm not sure what's Baden-Baden? Baden-Baden. Oh, this is Germany. It's a spa town in the south of Baden-Württemberg, southwest Germany, on the northwestern border of the Black Forest. Oh, that sounds nice. It looks nice in the pictures anyway. Spa town. 10 kilometers east of the Rhine, the border with France, and 40 kilometers northeast of Strasbourg, France. Wow. Became part of the transnational UNESCO World Heritage. Something. It's cut off then. Yeah, that looks beautiful, by the way, Baden-Baden. Just looking at it now. Yeah. Oh, that's where you live, Gary. Oh. Population 54,000. Margaret Mergen is the mayor. This is just from Google, by the way. I didn't know all this. It's one of the most famous resort and spa cities in Europe, visited by thousands of tourists every year. It was founded in the Roman garrison and in the 3 descent. Its hot mineral springs were used by the Romans and remains of Roman baths have been found in the city. Well, that's kind of crazy. Thanks for telling me that. 15 best things to do in Baden-Baden. Huh. Thanks, Gary. That's amazing. I learn something new every day when people tell me things and things to look up and things like that. So now, everybody, we're about 8 minutes from saying goodbye. I'm going to reach 2 hours on the live stream. I really hope everyone's enjoyed. Oh, I've so much enjoyed it. I've lost my page here. Sorry. I'm just going to close that and close that. Sorry, I'm just going to click over here, and that was handy that I've just pressed the wrong button. Oh, there we go. There we go. Perfect. That's better. Yeah, I like to have the kind of the analytics on the screen on my side computer over here. So, and I just clicked on the wrong thing all of a sudden. My parents were in Baden-Baden and they said it was beautiful. Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, how cool it must be. Beautiful place. Beautiful. Oh, wow. So people know this place. I guess, yeah, one of the most recognized resort towns in Europe. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah. Massive thank you, everybody, for who's been watching the live stream. I really appreciate everyone that's, well, as someone's off-road bike goes screaming by. I don't know if anyone can hear that or not, but there's because it's kind of a bit of a regional area here. Okay, it's not really regional, but there is sort of forest around where we live. There's a lot of young guys who like to ride these dirt bikes here, and they think it's like a speedway. There's literally on the road right down from our apartment, there's a speed bump, and it's a fairly major speed bump. So people can't really go screaming through here. The motorbikes will, but the cars kind of get stopped at that speed bump every time. So, Dark Brother, thank you for the super sticker. When I put it up on the screen here, it doesn't show the little icon. So I guess it's the thumbs up icon. I like these little stickers. It's very cool that people can. It's like a potato with a thumbs up. I think it is. So thank you, Dark Brother. I hope. Don't forget to. Well, it's Dark Brother. It's not yet. I'm going back. So first, I need to get the medical sorted out, which is probably going to happen next month. Because we basically just budget around the time and the price to go pay the embassy. Sorry, the clinic where I need to go and do the medical is at actually, Gary, this is interesting. I've got to do the medical in Moscow at the German embassy. The clinic's offices, or I don't know, what do we call it? The clinic is in the German embassy building in the compound in Moscow. So, but the doctor, it's a lady doctor. If it's still the same lady, I believe it is. She's actually Spanish, I think. I think she's from Spain. I'm almost certain. So yeah, it's kind of crazy because you've got to kind of get, like, she puts you on a list to go in the entrance through the gates, and they've got the extra like security guards there, and then the compound is basically also where the consulate staff live there as well. There's a lot of the consulates here that have got the living buildings, the apartment buildings, on the same grounds as all the offices or the the consulates. So people who work there don't have to travel somewhere else to go to work, right? So they've got that also for the British embassy in Moscow Center as well. And Gary has put a super sticker also. Thank you. Yeah, so thank you to all the people that have done super chats and super stickers. What's your guy there? Is it like a guy popping out behind a cloud and waving? There's a channel. Did I mention this before? There's a channel that I've watched. That now I look very silly. I'm watching it on a few second delay. There's a channel that I watch, and the guys that do the live streams mimic out these super stickers. So anytime someone sends a super sticker, the guy does like a dance or the mimics the imitation of that. And I think people kind of take the mickey out of it by sending them to him with the different pictures. You can't put them on the screen here, so it just shows it as super sticker, but not the actual picture. Ria new mic. Good enunciation is really important in these videos, Russell. Your enunciation is always excellent. Yeah, I think enunciation is the speaking part where I don't have the plosives. I watched a couple of videos recently about this, especially like the comparison of the Rode Wireless Go microphones and the DJI Wireless Go mics, and then also about the lavalier mics. So yeah, the good enunciations. Wow, I'm really talking posh. The guy I was with yesterday, Ivan, every time he talked about Ireland and that he lived there, his Russian accent became like Irish for those sort of few words when he started just mentioning things about Ireland and the food and the beer and stuff like that. It was quite funny to hear a Russian guy with an Irish accent for a few words. Yeah, everything's made a little bit more difficult for seamen nowadays. Yes. Yeah, it's it's just a matter of just like when my wife was applying for her Australian residency, you know what I mean, the amount of paperwork we had to deal with, and the her application, the Australian government based a lot of it on the relationship. So her and I's relationship, how it's developed, how it's continuing on, what's our future plans. And for the Russian residency, for what I did here, I didn't have to do any of that. They just needed hard documents, so it's just about gathering documents. And I said that for my wife's visa. I said, let's just get what we need to do, get on with it, get the paperwork sorted out, get it signed, stamped, apostilled, and get the application sent in. You know what I mean? It's more and more difficult to deal with, but and it's the crew members that went home, it's more difficult probably realistically because a lot of the crew were home for almost 2 years. So things like their medicals expired, their visas expired, their training certificates expired. So things like the firefighter training, or there's one called STCW, which is basically the safety certificates expired. Their Panamanian book or the Bahamian Seaman's book expired. So you've got to go get those renewed. So, a lot of crew just do it and don't talk about it, don't think about it, and don't worry about it. And then some people, it's a challenge to get over all the paperwork you've got to do. And people, especially who haven't worked on cruise ships before and are maybe applying or going through the process, it's a lot to deal with in the very beginning and the first contract particularly. So can you mention your cruise channel? Yes, it's called I Like Cruise Ships. So if you type that into YouTube, I Like Cruise Ships, or if you type in Carnival Horizon cabin or stateroom, probably a lot of my videos will come up. If you type in, I don't know, like Paradise Beach Cozumel or Ocho Rios Cruise Terminal, that for sure my videos will come up. So yeah, for sure. And Gary, one more super sticker. Thank you. Keep it up. Oh, this so this guy is the guy working out now. The last few days, right? And I think it's because of the weather and the change of weather. My ankles and my legs have swollen up. And I thought it was from wearing socks. I don't wear flip-flops here at all like I do in Australia. Pretty much every day in Australia, I wear flip-flops, especially in summer and with warm weather. And here I've not worn them since I've been here the whole 9 months. So I wear my trainers everywhere I go, everywhere. So if I go out for an entire day walking, trainers on, socks on, and my legs and ankles have swollen up. And my wife's like, oh, you need to go to the gym. You need to go work out. You need to stop drinking Coca Cola. Sorry. Stop drinking Coca Cola. And recently I've started eating these, there's some instant noodles you can get here, like this box instant noodles, which are really nice. And I like the really spicy ones, you know, these pot noodles. And my wife's joking, like when I'm eating these noodles, they go into my legs and expanding. You know, you put the boiling water in and it expands the noodles. So, yeah, there's actually a gym in our apartment building downstairs, and the guy does like, you can do like monthly passes, or you can do, he does like coaching, you know, where you do like workouts together. Used to be seamen didn't even need visas. They just had to show their seamen's papers and they'd get free transit through many countries. Absolutely. Yeah. Years gone by, there was a lot less need for documents and paperwork and official things. Even now, to get onto the ports and to get on the ships and to get even through the security, years, and when I first started on cruise ships, you could almost talk your way on board without anything. And even if you weren't working on a ship, you could talk your way on board another ship just to go for a visit or a tour of a ship. Now the paperwork and the pre-authorization, even to get onto the ship, when you, let's say you're joining a ship in Miami and you get to the port where the passengers get on the ship, there's a crew entrance and there's a list you've got to be on there, like on the security list. They've got to then see your passport. They've got to reference your visa and things like that. So yeah, it is more and more than what it used to be. Yeah, I remember years ago when it was that easy. Oh, Real Moscow Roach, you like spicy food as well? Oh yeah, I talk about this. I'm not really on the ship. They have some Indian food. I'm not a big lover of it, but those spicy, you know the name of the noodles. They're only like 60 rubles for a box. They're in a plastic container, and you pour the boiling water and put the lid on. Maybe you were an Indian in the past. My grandfather was born in Cork City, Ireland, so I recognize Irish accents, except Northern Irish can sound a bit more British. Oh, right. Yeah, it's funny when I heard him talking yesterday and he mentioned a few words that you can hear the accent. And particularly when you meet Russians who speak very good English, you know, you kind of question them how they learned their English, or where did you get it from, or how did you pick it up? And there's always that story behind it, right? I lived overseas, I went to school, I went to boarding school, or, you know, where people say I watch movies, that's the old story. I watch movies or television, but it's hard to pick up the accents from just watching television like that, you know? So, yeah, maybe, maybe you were Indian in another life. All right, everybody, it's past 2 hours. It's 9:34 here, so actually the sun has gone down. Perfect time now. It's cooled down. I can open this other window a little bit. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that's been in tonight's live stream. I do try to do them once a week, sometimes twice a week. I really enjoy the feedback from the chat. So where people are especially asking questions, or, I'm not probably as good at talking from a speech that people ever do, you know what I mean? And, where people sort of have a rundown of things they want to say. I'm not really doing that too much. But I don't mind sort of talking about a topic, so ever recover, but it is now 54 right now compared to 75 in January. Oh, I guess you're talking about the ruble, right? Yeah. So we talked about this at the top of the show. So if you might want to, I don't know if you watched the whole live stream or not, but yeah, will it ever recover? I mean, I hope it does for my sake, for my Australian currency that I want to spend in Russia, and how much rubles I get for my dollar. I want it to recover. I mean, will it and can it? I mean, I don't know. You know what I mean? Things would have to change very quickly here. Like, not necessarily all these brands leaving and all these economic changes. I mean, I don't think that's going to do that so much. But I just saw the title. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we kind of talked about for about the first 15, 20 minutes or so, or maybe half an hour. And then we've kind of gone through the chat since then. So I'm sorry. Yeah, I think 9/11 put a towel in all of that. Put an end to all of that. I guess you're talking about the recoveries and stuff. I mean, the one thing like that's affected, I mean, not necessarily just over here in Russia, but even in Australia, I mean, the COVID lockdown didn't help any end to a lot of things. And then now the supply chain issues, I mean, the same in Australia. I mean, the shortages of certain foods and vegetables, and, there's delivery issues where, like, for instance, China has these huge COVID lockdowns right now. So a lot of the manufacturing's not getting done and shipped. So that's getting affected from China's end of the bargain, you know what I mean, to Australia. So I watched a lot of John Wayne movies. Is it Howdy Partner? That sounds like cowboys more than John Wayne. I guess he was a cowboy, right? So thank you, Gary. One more last super sticker, the onset. I love those onset chairs, by the way. On the cruise ship, we had them in the perfume shops. So they have like a makeup chair, they would call that, the makeup chairs. And every cruise ship has one of those in the perfume section. So generally when we finish work and we have like meetings, everyone sort of fights to get that last chair to sit on. Yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, Bearbull, Gary, Real Moscow Projects, before there, Dark Brother, Sari, DD. There's quite a few people here. Joanne. Sorry, everybody that I may not say thank you to. Do you miss Australia? Should I say no just to say no? I don't miss Australia that much that I want to go back, and I'd get off the plane and, a weight would lift off my shoulders and everything will be peachy keen. I miss only small things about Australia, like some certain foods. Okay, seeing my family, sitting down with my mum and dad, going around to my sister's house. She's got a husband and boys. Meeting a few friends from school from way back when. I started to enjoy going to work every day. I had a steady job. It was casual hours, but I was doing a steady job every week. And I worked at a couple of different supermarkets doing merchandising. And I became very good friends with people I work with there. So, I don't miss Australia that I want to get on the plane and leave. Put it that way. I enjoy living here. I love the town I live in, Prelivka. It has a lot of things that not necessarily everywhere in Moscow has. So, it's a town, in a regional area from Moscow center. It's not too built up population wise. It's close to buses. It's close to trains. We've got supermarket shops. We've got a little mini shopping center. So it's got things that I need and like and want, and it doesn't have me any reason to leave and move somewhere else, for instance, either. So, yeah, I think Joanne, sorry, I'm going to say Joanne, Janine. Joanne? Sorry if I got your name wrong. I feel bad now. Yeah, I don't miss Australia. I guess I've worked overseas for so many years. I mean, before living in Russia and then working on cruise ships, I was outside of Australia far more than I was in Australia. I mean, for that year and a half over COVID now, when I came home, and then Jen was there in Australia with me, she always questioned, you know what I mean? But you're home, your family's here, everything's here. But I really wasn't home. I'd just come home the same time as you. It was 2 months apart. You know, I walked in the apartment where we were renting and living with one luggage, like you got off the plane with one luggage, you know. So I hope that makes a bit of sense. All right, I'm going to end the live stream. Sorry, I'm also going to... Oh, that looks like I'm really comfy, doesn't it? I feel like I'm too comfy here. Can you like type it how you pronounce it? Gianni. Is it Gianni? I should know this name. It's like very normal Australian, English, British, American, Canadian names. So, thank you. Thank you, Gary. Goodbye. Good vibes. Take care. Yes. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Real Moscow Projects. Yes. Yeah, the waiters on cruises are telling me they're working a lot harder now. They're down to 2-member teams in the dining room. Yeah, I think they basically got reduced numbers across all departments because there's obviously not as many crew members joining, and they've got longer contracts. Yeah, where they had an extra person here and there to do duties they weren't doing, you know, it's, yeah, dining room, housekeeping, that's really not easy jobs to do. Bartenders, bar waiters. So like bar, for instance, they maybe don't have an extra guy that's the bar steward. So the guy that cleans the bar, does the garbage, you know, cleans the ice machine, you know, when they open and close the bars in the morning and nighttime. Oh, it's French. Oh, I guess your last name's French. I guess, but your first name, I guess I don't know every origin. So your Romain is definitely French. Thank you for the stream. Good vibes. Yeah, thank you, DD. I like that. So on the on here on the screen here where I put this is from StreamYard, by the way. It says thank you for the stream. Good vibes. But what you've typed is the emoji. So the emoji basically it comes up with the spelling of the emoji rather than the actual emoji. Oh, T's alive. Blim Jim, you're late to the live stream unless you've been here the whole time and haven't typed anything. I was just slowly leaving. Slowly. I've run over time by about 10 minutes. So I was just a little bit behind. So yeah, if anyone hasn't watched the previous video, maybe you can go back and watch the tour of Globus Gourmet. Where I live, or at the next shopping center, there's a Globus supermarket or hypermarket. And where I went yesterday in that video is like more like a food fair or food market, like a luxury supermarket. So yeah, thanks everybody. Feminine for French, masculine John. That's interesting. I'll have to Google your name afterwards now and see the background to it. So, all right, deep breath and end the broadcast. Catch you later in another live stream, everybody, especially to everyone that likes to watch my live streams and chat with me and show feedback and thumbs ups, likes, whatever you're all doing. Massive thank you to people that did super chats, super stickers. When you watch a video, by the way, I know I don't like promoting things like this, but there is the super thanks option. So you can actually now even donate on an individual video and it comes up as a comment. now the light's really shining in now. I'm going to switch that off. Oh, now it's really gone dark here now. Oh, that's really, sorry everybody if the quality of the picture's not good now. Very interesting stream. Thank you. I learned a lot. Thank you. Oh, that's great. I'm glad something worked out nice. I can really talk for hours on end in live streams like this. As long as I've got the feedback in comments and people asking questions, I can easily kind of do live streams like this. It's not a problem, you know, and I don't mind answering honestly any question and anything within reason, right? So, all right, end of broadcast. Thanks again, everybody. If you want to, after the live stream at some point, you can happily put a comment on the video or a thumbs up or a like for watching the video. Not necessarily comments now in the stream, but comments for the end of the video once it goes onto the channel. Yeah, and if you haven't watched that last video, go back and check it out. And then if you've got the notification bell on for future videos, you'll get to see them first. So yeah, thanks everybody. Remember yeah, Gary. Yeah, so my longest live stream was my first one. If anyone doesn't know, it was 6-hour live stream. That was my first kind of welcome to the channel to everybody live stream. And I kind of waited till we got a fair amount of people watching kind of to that. So yeah, I do remember the 6-hour one, Gary. Thanks. Bye, everybody. Catch you later. I'm going to smile until